Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this one's going to go. Should be starting any moment now. On your left, we've got we're going to shorten our player on the left to Pi, and on the right we've got Baddy. This is Pi's second match and Baddy's first match. Baddy was one of our top 8 and got a bye, and here we go. Umbra minus is a starting orb. That's not the worst they could have, but it's not great. Starting with a minus is never the
Fast starts, yeah.
Blade regular is pretty good though. Nice big attack area, and not a bad damage type.
Yeah, they'll be fine with that. They will do fine.
Oh yeah, no. I think they will have no problems managing the early parts of the game.
Starting at the past, because it's an inverted seat.
And waking up in the refugee camp.
Already picking up the warp, very smart.
Yep. Yeah, very important with Unchained Keys to enter the warp room here so that you can come back here when you need to.
Oculus Ring Plus, well, that's useless.
Yes, but it does let us know that if they find Eye Orb, that's going to be a plus orb, and that's really big information. They're actually starting with an early warp shard. That will be actually pretty important if they remember to warp. Warp shards usually aren't available until you can get to one of the shops, which requires either access to the present or some amount of vertical movement, and having them can save a lot of time. Baddy saved and quit after checking the first check. That's actually not something I've seen before, but I can see that's really smart. So, Batting heading off to the right to head towards the Upper Maw Caves and or the Castle Ramparts, and then leading off into Elena's Castle and Towers. We've got a pink on the way there, which is nice. Any one of the Plasma Orb items is required to open a door in the castle. That would be Plasma Orb, Royal Ring, or Plasma Geyser, the spell. They've also got the Scythe Ring here, which is giving their orbs a little bit of extra damage. Well, Pi's orbs, anyway. Baddy hasn't equipped it yet.
Well, seems that Baddy is going straight into the castle ramparts, skipping the area below here, in the caves. We'll see if Pi does the same thing.
Oh, looks like what Baddy's actually doing is visiting the warp, and then backtracking to do that lower area, because there's another warp right at the start of that lower area. By doing that, he gives himself the opportunity, if there's nothing good down here, to bail out before going through the caves, then warping right back up there.
Indeed, not something I've seen before. Nice idea.
Yeah, it's a strategy I see used. I think it's actually something that you'll probably see me doing when I do any of my matches. But let's see if Pi is gonna double back. No, Pi's completely skipped the caves, completely skipped that warp, and is going to the ramparts. Looks like we've got a flooded moat today. The randomizer is using a setting called what is it called again? Remind me.
Rising Tides.
Rising Tides, thank you. The Rising Tides setting will take a certain number of areas in the game that either do or don't have water and increase or decrease the water level randomly. It's based on the seed, and this is one of those areas. There's that moat. So in this case, we have risen the tide in that area, so now we need the water mask in order to get the 2 items that are down in that moat. Looks like Baddy has actually gone back to do the caves, but is now being stymied by the mushrooms here.
Low HP as well. This is a tough spot to get to at the moment, without any mana at the moment.
Yeah. So these mushrooms are really tanky, and whenever you hit them, they give off this poison aura cloud that damages you. And poison in this game is actually really scary because it just, for a very long time, it can... Ooh, yeah, that's rough. It looks like Baddy might be in a bit of a trouble here. And that's a death on Baddy's side, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Did he save? Okay, so last time he saved was... Oh, he hasn't saved
Back
since...
at the referee camp, yeah.
Oh, he's all the way back at the beginning. Meanwhile, over on Pie's side, we've got an elevator key card in the Giantess chest. And there's Sash early. So Sash is one of our infinite vertical movement items. With this, it's in fact the ideal vertical movement item. He'll be able to move upward whenever he wants, as far as he wants. That's really useful, not just for traversing areas, but also getting over enemies. And just in general is really good movement tech. So having Sash early is going to be good for both runners. Batty will make his way over there pretty soon, I'm sure. Let's see if he's going to repeat everything he's done there. We've got Blood Minus over on Pie's side. Regrettable, unfortunately. I've seen a lot of minus orbs so far. Because I think they also have an Iron Minus, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Iron also minus, yeah.
Yeah. Iron, one of the highest damage blunt orbs, but slower and with minus, maybe not the best damage. Alright, looks like Batty is going to skip the caves this time and just head directly through into the ramparts.
Yeah, understandable. You don't want to go there twice.
Yeah, now that he's seen that there's the difficulty there, he's gonna not go back there until he has to, and I don't blame him.
And Pi doing the castle loop. That is Dusk Ring, I think, is Ambra. It's Ambra minus, right? Yeah. And already knew Ambra was minus, of course, because he had at the start.
Yeah, we had Umbra minus at the start, so... But yeah, no, this castle loop is one of the potentially flooded areas. This time it is not. With vertical, this shouldn't be too bad, because he's got the sash, so being able to go up through some of this area shouldn't be as bad. So this is a pretty ideal set of checks here. It's 2, 4, 6 items down here for pretty minimal investment. Alright, Batty over there getting the key card. Pi has found security key card D in the loop.
Well.
Yep, that'll be very important when they get to the present. Batty picking up his sash over on the right side of that area down there, so he'll be very happy with that. I think Pi may have actually forgotten that he's got sash, but pretty sure he'll pick that up. Ice minus. Man, there really are a lot of minus orbs today.
Yeah, I'm gonna get yelled at after the seat, probably.
Oh, so that's a good point. So Waff over in chat mentioning that if you're jumping when you damage boost, you get knocked back further. So that might be part of why some of this is going the way that it is.
Well, Pi is going deeper into the castle now. Probably gonna go to the twins or to Alana. I seen a strat yesterday where they skipped the twins, so went straight for Alana. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, good to see where he goes. Oh yeah, no. I think we have learned from some of the other races that we do not want to skip the Under the Twins location coming up here. We've seen a number of good items here, and there's a gear sitting out.
That's also nice, yeah.
Yep, so for those who don't know, the win condition for Timespinner Randomizer is to collect all 5 pieces of the Timespinner, and then get access to the final area of the game, the Ancient Pyramid, either through getting access to the lab, or by getting the Mysterious Warp Beacon, which allows direct access to the pyramid. And then getting to the final boss door, which can maybe require some infinite vertical, but they've got that covered already. So there are 3 Timespinner gears, which on their own do nothing. The Timespinner Spindle, which also does nothing, but provides half access to the past from the present. And the Timespinner Wheel, which is the important one, which gives them the ability to stop time. We'll talk more about the wheel when we find it in the seed.
And as the chatter said also in Twitch, Pi seems to have forgotten they had Slash indeed, because I left the gear just there and went back with the warp shard. But now they're finally going up.
Oh good. Yeah, I missed that, thank you.
And the pyramid goes too. Oh, I can't reach it fast.
Oh, that was the inner pyramid warp. That was a really good find. So we were mentioning, I had mentioned the mysterious pyramid access, and there it is. That is the mysterious warp beacon, and it is the closest warp to the final boss door. It is right there, so they're not going to have a whole lot of trouble once they find all of their pieces.
Yeah. Currently, Pi is quite a bit ahead, but Barry is a very good racer and will probably catch up still.
Oh no! Batty has skipped Alana, or skipped the twins spot, so he is heading straight up to the throne room, while Pi over here is fighting the boss in the twin spot. So yeah, so we are playing. So the racers are playing with boss randomization on. So this is the Maw, a boss that shows up a little later in the game, but it is scaled to the location of the twins and the golden idol, which is where this boss is actually showing up. This spot is one of 3 spots that gives access to about a third of the present. The lab, as I mentioned before, requires you to have killed 3 boss spots, and this is one of them. Oh, Pi reset for some reason. I'm not sure what was that.
They were doing no damage with the Umber Orb minus. That's like 1,
Oh.
1, 1, 1.
Because the Maw resists it. That is, yeah, that's a problem. So Pi will have to come back later once he's got some better damage. Meanwhile, Batty has gone up into the Royal Towers. We've got a bunch of items here, that would be somewhat hard to get. We have some of our famous struggle juggle locations in the tower, but with Celestial Sash, that'll be much easier. There's a plus orb, and it's a really good plus orb. This is Nether Plus, one of our best orbs in the game, and it is plus, so that is likely going to be the damage orb for quite some time, unless something better comes along.
Yeah, indeed, not much better you can get anyway, except for maybe Empire, I guess.
Empire and Plasma strike me as the 2 potentially better orbs, and we already know that Plasma is minus. And there's some fire on Batty's side. On the left side of the present, also the Eternal Coat, the best armor in the game, and Succubus Hairpin, our double jump. Really good for vertical progression, and also for boss fights, so that you don't have to use the forced upward of Celestial Sash. Anyway, so the Pyro Ring there, on the left side of the past, we have some vines that, if you burn them in the past, will open some access in the present, doing some time travel shenanigans and actions and reactions. One of the really smart things that was part of this game. Getting access to that fire means that when they go over to the left side of the map, they'll be able to burn those vines for when they get to the present. If they go to the present, they'll have access to some more areas. But yeah, as Llama has mentioned in the chat here, Llama being excellent friend of the Timespinner community, we have a pretty close race here now. They're both in the tower, and they're both about even.
Yeah, of course, because Pi reset his attempt on the twins. More, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. See, also blood was also minus. Not sure if you already knew that one. But it was also negative orb.
Yep.
It's really bad for orbs to see it.
Yeah. So Batty is heading into the Alana spot, another one of our required spots, and Alana is at Alana, so very vanilla here. This is the boss that is traditionally here, so got a pretty normal fight. We might actually get to see one of the side effects of the Nether Orb here. One of the reasons the Nether Orb is so powerful is that when it comes into contact with what is marked as an enemy projectile, it makes these little damaging nether void zones that are just really good at doing some extra damage. And there's another gear up here. Batty's first gear and what will be Pi's second gear.
Baddy's probably gonna go to the other tower now, to the right tower.
Yep, which is where Pi is going right now. So Pi looks like he's going to do the right side and then come back for the Alana spot. Batty going up to Alana, then dropping down. I don't know if either of these racers have warped yet. So I don't know if their warp shards are turned on.
I know at least Pi is, but Pi already used his warp shard, I think.
Oh, that's right.
Baddy as well, according to chat. At least that means Baddy warped. But probably says what's left. Yeah, there he is.
Oh, nope. Apparently he has one.
Yeah.
Alright, and his warp shard was turned on. One of the small quirks in the game that you can't actually warp until you can't use a warp shard until you have used a warp. So until you have warped from one room to another, you can't use the warp. That's actually another advantage of the early route that Batty chose, is by warping from the upper Maw Caves back to the Castle Ramparts entrance. That turns on all the warp shards that he might find. Oh, you know what? They've been through the shop at this point, so of course they got warp shards. So over here we've got Pi fighting Alana. He should have no trouble beating her up with the combination of Succubus Hairpin for good double jumping and another orb, especially during that attack. And Batty cleaning up the twins area.
Claiming his second gear.
Yep, second gear, and right here the Mysterious Warp Beacon.
Yeah, and second gear for Pi as well now.
Perfect. Pi realizing he hasn't warped yet, so he's gonna have to walk back to the warp point.
Which Pi used to warp before? Oh, maybe not before he saved. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? He did,
Warped out of the Maw fight, right? So, yeah.
No, he saved and quit out of the Maw fight.
Oh, okay. Right.
So yeah, so Pi is walking back to the save point at the bottom of the tower. Batty over here, now working on the Maw with another plus, so that should be a much cleaner fight. Maw is one of the easier bosses in the game. Doesn't move, lets you just kind of attack him. And there we go. Reward is a brooch, which is just a cosmetic item, but killing the boss means that's 2 of the 3 bosses required for lab access in the present.
Although we're not sure if we actually have to go to the lab at all this seat, but we'll find it out eventually.
Yeah. Pi has taken... Pi and Batty are both realizing that they have a warp shard, or have the access to the pyramid, and they're going to go check, but... Oh... So this is one of the potentially flooded areas, and unfortunately our final boss room is flooded, so neither of them can check that item right now. This also means that when we get to our final boss fights, which is 2 boss fights in a row, they're going to be doing the entire fight underwater.
Probably chicken bombardier somebody, I guess.
Yep, that's what I was assuming. We've had a few we've had at least one race that came down to bombardiers being the last check, being something important. Unfortunately today, just the Frozen Spires. But there's also one more Yep. We've also one more check over here. They weren't able to complete their first time through. There is a chest in the upper left of this room that they need to go clean up. And it's just an ether today, so... Pi, over on our left, is heading towards Lake Serene, which is the next area available to us in the past. At this point, its progression will definitely be over here somewhere. And I don't think we've seen a map check from either of them to see if Serene is flooded or not.
Yeah, we have seen map checks, but I wasn't paying attention.
Bombardment plus.
That's a nice damage spell.
Oh,
That's
yeah. Oh, Batty coming back down to the caves because he wasn't able to do this before, but now he can do Bat Ledge. Oh, finds the tablet on Bat Ledge. Another important item for the present. There are a bunch of computer terminals in the library and the lab in the present that each of them is an item check. So having that tablet for going to the present will be useful. So now we've got a divergence here. Batty is going to go through the cave and get to the 2 items he can access that are here, while Pi is heading into Lake Serene. We're also going to see if Pi decides to do the Cantrin check or if he's going to save that for later.
So it's Baddy's second time in here now, because he died the first time. Let's hope it goes better now.
Looks like Pi is going to go ahead and try the Cantrin fight. So this is an optional side quest boss in the vanilla game. Oh no, this is Ravenlord at Cantrin. So lots of HP, a fair amount of damage, and Ravenlord being one of the trickiest bosses to fight because you're in a large arena. It's not necessarily standing near platforms, and it likes to teleport around. So this should be a fun boss fight to watch on Pi's side while we look and see what Batty has gotten. Looked like nothing important from the first chest here, and the second chest is also nothing important. Luckily,
Pi definitely has the gear for his boss. He has enough equipment, enough items, so should be able to kill him.
Oh, absolutely. And there it is. At the end of the Maw Caves on Batty's side of things, there's a convenient warp back to the camp. So since he was going to go back to the camp anyway, it looked like Batty decided, why don't I just go ahead and check these 2 items in the Maw Cave or in the caves, and routed it that way, which I think is pretty smart. Pi over here, you can see he's burned his first set of vines, and he's checking the upper Lake Serene area. We did see that Lake Serene is still flooded, which is its default state. So he's got to go up this way. And getting some better equipment, increasing their damage. You'll see the runners will probably not change their equipment very often. They're really going to be focused on damage items, and so most of these runners know exactly which pieces of equipment are the damage equipment. Especially since they already have the Eternal Coat, which is the best armor in the game.
Seems Baddy only at the moment has this Lake Serene area left, the upside.
Yep.
Upside, yeah.
Looking over at chat, we've got some people mentioning in chat that Batty almost accidentally broke some rules from muscle memory. So Batty is actually, I think, is he our world record holder in the any percent category or the New Game Plus category?
I have no idea.
Batty is a speedrunner of the base game. And one of the speed techniques in the base game is something called risky dashing. Through a particular set of inputs, you can... Okay, so Batty is the world record holder in the 100% vanilla game category. And part of that run is doing something called risky dashing, which is the fastest way to move. But it is really hard on your hands to do, and so for the purposes of the tournament, we have made it a... we have disallowed the use of the glitch. And so you might see Batty jumping around very often. That is muscle memory, but he has not done any risky dashing so far, and I don't expect he will, but he may sometimes slip a little bit and come close.
Okay, Pi finally arrived into the present now.
Ooh, there was present access at Azure
Yeah,
Queen.
they got the
Nice.
present one for Azure Queen. They have alchemy tools basically. So he's checked the skeleton. 12.
And we've got a...
Oh, it's flooded. Also.
It's flooded,
Oh,
but
you go under
luckily...
there. Yeah, you go under there. Yeah, correct. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the least impactful floods, because all it does is make you need to use some momentum to get around. So Pi is going to go through... This is the first area of the game, so should be no problem. Oh, looks like we've got Empire as well.
Pi is not interested in picking up the Clash of Hammer spell. It hits very hard, but of course his bombardment plus will hit harder.
Yep, and we already know that iron is minus, so... Yep. And there's the wheel, one spot off of where it normally is in the game. So now Pi has the ability to stop time. Using some of that sand reserve, which you can now see has filled the hourglass on the left side of his health bar. This should be pretty good in terms of boss fights. This really helps with a number of boss fights. You can use time stop to really take advantage of things, as well as when time is stopped, you can walk on enemies. The only disadvantage to time stop being you can't actually hurt anything while you're stopping time.
Yeah, still it's an ability that's not used that often and normally. Only in a few specific scenarios because, well,
Right.
you don't really need it most of the time. Especially with the movement options they already have available to them. Because normally you would use it a lot to jump on enemies to get higher. But they already have infinite vertical to jump anyway.
Yep, and that is Empire Plus, which was just beyond Azure Queen.
Nice.
Now we see Pi is... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Pi picked up another warp. Not sure where it went, but I think they already have pretty much all the access anyway, unless it's the Mar Cave.
I didn't see, but it looked like it was Royal Towers.
Yeah, I think it was Royal Towers. I read some more. Yeah, correct. Also picked up the V card. It's the pink security card. For that they would actually also need a tablet, which is available to them because Baddy has a tablet on his inventory.
Yep.
It will open up another 3 checks. I'm not sure where the tablet is being obtained, but it was Bat Ledge, yeah.
Yep, no, tablet was on the Bat Ledge, which Pi has not gone back for. So this could swing. So right now Batty's a few steps behind Pi. Batty is just starting the Lake Desolation area, and Pi has just finished it. But if there is something important on those downloads, then Batty might have a pretty big lead here. So we're gonna find that out here once Batty gets over to that area. Let's see. Meanwhile, what else have we seen? We've seen Pi went through some of the fire check area, so the upper Lake Desolation area is unavailable unless you burn the vines in the past. Batty getting this bee trap. One of the features that has been lovingly developed for this randomizer is the traps. I'm not gonna lie, I voted for no traps during this tournament, but people love the traps, and I can't deny that.
I love my bees. Yeah. So now we're getting into the library on the Pi side. There's a lot of checks in small density. So we're getting a lot of things here.
Yeah, so we'll see a lot coming in. First, talking to the librarian, getting Aura Serpent Plus, a pretty decent damaging spell, but not as good as Bombardment Plus.
And here again also 3 checks which can be done with the tablet that Baddy has, which now Pi is missing. So it does hurt a bit, maybe, depending what's on it.
Yep, we'll find out. D keycard door. Kobo in the library. So we are also playing with the Geyer archive checks on, which unlock 2 boss fights and a series of randomly generated dungeons. And the 2 boss fights are locked by familiars. The Kobo there is the familiar that unlocks the boss fights that is right here in the library. So we're going to see if Pi goes ahead and does that fight since he's here. There's Infernal Flames Plus, another pretty decent spell.
And also Baddy has been able to do both of the extra checks in the, near the Shadowed Orb. Because Baddy did kill the Ma. The twins boss, right? Oh no, not the Ma. I'm cleaving the Ma, randomized Ma.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, so nothing exciting in the library. And Pi did go ahead and go to the Ifrit spot, and we have Prince Nuvius, the past version of Linnaeus' father. This is a fight that is incredibly difficult to do unless you've got some vertical movement and time stop, and luckily we've got both, so this should be a pretty clean fight for Pi. Meanwhile, Baddy heading into the sewers on the way to the library. Oh, I've just realized Baddy skipped the lower part of Lake Desolation and does not have the wheel.
Nicely spotted indeed.
So that's another divergence, and that might be another big problem here if Batty doesn't go back for that here soon. Because that was Batty just got his first memory pickup, which would have triggered on the one that's in like Desolation, but since he skipped it, that was the first. He got the little dialogue.
He didn't want to get wet. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, Lily. He saw the water and decided to skip. Alright, Pi has finished the fight over here, and he'll get to see another 2 checks. Meanwhile, Batty is about to start doing tablet checks. There's Shadow Seal, which is one of the better pieces of equipment. Meanwhile, Star of Lakiem over on the right in the V card, but otherwise nothing important there. So that's some damage. Another brooch, not important. Hailwind, another damage ring, but not important. 2 more downloads here in the library. 1 more download, and we'll see if that is important. Did Pi check the shop while he was here? I didn't catch if he did.
I'm gonna assume he did.
Okay. Alright, so Pi is going to head over to Varndegraaff's tower. Alright, nothing important in the shop. Oh, Pi just completely skipped the shop. Alright.
That's a pro move. I don't need your items.
Pi, realizing he doesn't have C card, but he does have the elevator key card, so he's going to take the shortcut up this.
And the last tablet check was just a Crimson Vortex spell.
Okay, so nothing important on tablet here. We'll see if Pi finds the tablet before he gets to the lab. Security key card B in Varndegraaff's tower. That's really important. That'll get him past the tower once we're able to kill the Maw. Also gets him to 1 more check that is in the tower, as well as getting access to the... Oh, there's the Water Mask on Pi's side. Water Mask is what allows our players to go in the water, go underwater, so that will be a lot of backtracking for Pi to all the water areas. Meanwhile, over on Batty's side, Batty is fighting Prince Nuvius at the Ifrit spot to get the Shadow Seal, and I can't remember the other item that was back there, but that will make both of our runners very happy. In case I didn't actually explain, the Shadow Seal gives our players more damage the lower their health is, and generally, as long as you've got 1 health, you're not dead, so damage is not a big deal to our runners here.
Interesting check on Pi's side. He's going to the sealed Siren Caves. It's only like 2 or 3, 4 checks here. It's generally not an area we want to go to because it's quite slow to route in.
Right, but he did just pick up the Water Mask, so he probably wants to get it out of the way, especially since he's got Warp Shards and everything else. He's got damage. About the only thing he's lacking for speed is Talaria. So there's 1, 2, 3, I think 5 total checks down here. I'll see if it pays off for him. Oh, Batty has backtracked to Lake Desolation. Gonna go do these flooded areas, and will pick up his wheel. That is good for him to get back on track here. Pi picking up some free experience from the slimes.
And Emperor's Ropes as well, nice.
Yep, but not as good as the Eternal Code that they already have. Oh, that wasn't Hammer, that was Corruption. That was the Corruption spell up at the Vanilla Wheel spot.
Okay, my bad then.
Not a big
It's
deal.
like a hammer to me.
Yeah, Corruption is a spell that doesn't end up being used all that often. It powers up when you kill things, but then once you use it, you can't use it again. Not very good for bosses, which tends to be the focus.
I'm a really big fan of it. It just does lots of AoE damage in a large circle.
That's a fair
Bosses
point.
indeed doesn't help very much, but just clearing enemies out does you well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. All right, Batty is going to. Oh, there's Ior Plus, and the Pendulum. So the Pendulum is a piece of equipment that allows them to be immune to poison, which might be important. But Ior Plus has the potential to be one of the highest damage orbs in the game. Using a technique known as orb swapping, and we'll see if either of our runners switch to it when they find it. The eye orb sends out a eyeball with a bunch of rotating blades on it that goes out and then comes back in, doing damage on both the out and the return trips. But if you use the jewelry box that they started with, switch to a different orb layout, and then switch right back, the eye will despawn, but the damage box will still go out and then come back in. And so by rapidly attacking and then swapping back to both reset the attack timer, but then also that hitbox continues to go out and then come back in, Ior potentially the most damage possible. I realize he doesn't have the tablet to do the check at the end of this hallway in the tower.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt.
Yep. Luckily, it's not the Hell Spider hallway, so not a whole lot of time there.
Still, you're gonna bang your head with it. Like, why did I go there?
Yep. Pi has found the clearly best familiar in the game, I have. Probably won't equip it, but good to know that our friend is found.
My favorite
Batty.
Sprite.
Batty chose not to go down into the Siren Caves, so won't pick up that Eye Orb, but otherwise isn't missing any progression. Pi picking up the Empire Crown, which is the highest damage headgear, so Pi likely not going to be changing his equipment for the rest of the seed. But Batty is now also climbing up a Varndergrass Tower, and so they're back to being about neck and neck.
And they don't say sea cards, so they can't do the boss at the top here.
That's a good point.
Which is only one check anyway, so it's probably not that important to go for.
That's true, but the way this game works, and it looks like so Batty has now checked that B card chest or tablet download. Unfortunately, not anything important.
Then so far the tablet has been useless, but there are still I think 5 downloads left in the lab, if we get there.
Yep. Yeah, something like that.
By finally picking up another warp room here, it's a nice one.
Alright, looks like Pi is going back for the Bombardier check. But also the moat, because he has the water mask now. So this is going to be 2 new checks over here on the left. Got a sand up and a potion.
That did not pay off. So, will Pi go for waterfall? That's the real question.
That is a good point. Will he backtrack for that? He might backtrack after he's done these 2 checks. Alright, Batty has finished up the checks in the tower. It looks like he's going to go to the Siren Caves.
I think there are also still 3 checks in logic in the ancient pyramid that now the runner has checked yet.
4 actually, 5. So there's the 2 chests at the beginning of the pyramid, which is for them now the end of the pyramid. The 2 what we call regret chests, they're very long to get to and don't always gift you anything. And now that they have the water mask, they can check the spot in front of the door. The door to the final boss.
So plenty of options available to our runners.
Pi is checking the waterfall. What have we got? a high potion, decent healing, and Storm Eye Plus. So another damaging spell, but not going to be better than Bombardment Plus. So nothing important in the waterfall today.
Why is not warming out of here for a reason?
Looks like he hasn't gone down to do Bat Ledge yet, and he doesn't have this warp, so this was his closest spot to get there. So he's going to be getting his tablet now, and we're going to see if he immediately backtracks to the library to get those downloads now that he's got it. He may also go into these upper maw caves to do the checks since he has the water mask. And that looks like what he's doing.
So I think these checks have already been done by Baddy. Yeah, that Baddy already did them, right? Not sure if he had Watermask though. I don't think he had Watermask by then.
He did not, so we're gonna see if they are all useful.
Here. Another Emperor's Hope to add to the collection.
Yep. By taking advantage of that Celestial Sash to move up in the water faster. And Batty has Ior Plus and is absolutely switching to it immediately.
Personally, I never mastered the technique to do those rapid attacks, but it's very popular.
Yeah, it's definitely harder on the hands. Batty is actually one of the few keyboard players that I know of. So he may have a more optimal setup for orb swapping at the expense of any other downsides to playing on keyboard, but he's been playing on keyboard for so long, I'm pretty sure he is more or less used to all of those things. There's a light wall underwater. Light wall or other option for infinite vertical progression if they didn't already have Celestial Sash. And Pi using the map to figure out where he's going next.
I picked the warp here, yeah.
Batty on our right is heading into the Lake Serene underwater checks. And probably will head to the Maw shortly after. Meanwhile, Pi backtracking to the library to take advantage of the tablet he found on the Bat Ledge.
So about 42 minutes in, I think that's about how fast some of the seeds are. So now you might start wondering how far your opponent already is.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're both agonizing over any mistakes they perceived themselves to have made. Probably both of them think that they are behind.
Yeah, you usually think that when you play yourself.
Still no sign of the Talaria attachment, which allows our players to dash left and right, and is the ultimate in movement techniques here. I think that was a sand up on the pedestal on Batty's screen, so getting skipped because not something they need.
Yeah, what we actually do need right now is still the Timespinner Spindle and the third Timespinner Wheel. We have no idea where they are yet, they could be anywhere.
Oh, there's the spindle.
Actually. So the lower Lake Serene is acquired actually.
Yep, so that is right next to the entrance to the Maw Cave, so...
And then we still need to find the last wheel as well, and then they should be able to just go to the final boss and finish it.
Yep, once they get that last piece of the Time Spinner, they can go straight to the... Oh, Batty is gambling that the last gear is actually here in the pyramid, so... Going to come back to the Maw Caves now that he's got a convenient warp there, and it's going to go see if it's in this last chest here, rather than potentially leaving this to be a last location.
Be a good laugh if that happens to be the case.
Yep. Pi is finishing the rest of Upper Lake Desolation. What have we got on Batty's side? Just the Galaxy Earrings, which is a way of leveling up your orbs. In this game, your orbs get experience as well as you, so as you do use an orb more often, it gets slightly more powerful, but it's not a whole lot, and so it's questionable. But now Batty is going to head down into the Maw Caves, which has a whole lot of items. I don't even know off the top of my head. I think it's double-digit items down here. And then we'll also...
the jackpot room 4 items, so yeah.
Yeah, the jackpot room has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then, yeah, 11 total items down here.
Yeah.
But then also the original spot for the Maw, which is the final thing they need to unlock both the lab and the castle keep, but also, or the military base, sorry. But then also the Infinite Gyre. Looks like we've got a flooded Maw Caves, so they're going to be going through here slowly sinking down to where the checks are.
A lot of flooding going on this seat.
Oh yeah. I think only one thing they visited that could be flooded wasn't. And that was the basement of the castle. Oh no, two things, because the walkway to the lower struggle juggle could also have been flooded and wasn't.
Oh yeah, correct, yeah. So yeah, Baddy is looking for the last piece of the time spinner. These are all new checks we haven't checked yet, so maybe we'll find it here.
Yep, and Baddy didn't find anything in those 2 lower checks in the Maw Caves, and without the Talaria attachment, it is faster to save or to quit without saving and just not have those 2 items, returning back up to where he saved last and going back up to the top of Maw Caves. Pi over here is going to be catching up here pretty soon. He is doing his Lake Serene underwater checks, and then we'll be probably entering the Maw Caves soon after that.
Yeah, outside of the Maw Caves, I don't think they have a lot of other options available at the moment. But once they have indeed beaten the Maw, they will have a few different routing choices available. Like you said, Tempo Gyre indeed, or most likely the Hangar, and then the Lab.
Actually going to go ahead and switch our audio over to Baddy.
Sure.
As he goes through the caves here.
Oh, it's a beautiful sound here.
Mm-hmm. This game has absolutely amazing music. Alright, nothing on the pedestal here, so Baddy's got 3 more chests before the Maw boss, and then 1 more chest beyond it. Baddy, I think, also still has the underwater checks in the upper Maw caves that he didn't do before, that he may check after he finishes the Maw.
Yeah, good point from Wef actually. In order to kill the Maw logically, you would need a gas mask first, which we did not found yet.
Oh, that's a good point. It could very well mean that we have a...
Yeah, Stinky Maw's on, yeah.
Yeah, Stinky Maw is always on, or Stinky Maw is on in these flags, which means the gas mask is logically required for the Maw boss spot. So if it's not in one of these 2 spots, the pyramid items are in logic now. Yes, that is fixed.
Could still be in the pyramid, yeah. That's a possible case.
Wind Orb Plus. So yeah, so technically, everything past here in the Maw Caves is not in logic because we do not have Talaria and we're underwater. So there's a warp point just past this room that Baddy is in, and we'll see what Baddy decides to do, because with the Stinky Maw flag on, every room beyond this warp point that Baddy's about to enter will be filled with poison gas that will slowly run our characters out of oxygen and then kill them. And it looks like Baddy's going to give it a shot, and maybe he might turn around once he realizes he's running out of oxygen, but we'll see.
Yeah, now to dash through the oxygen, logically you would need the lariat attachment, which we also have not found yet. So yeah, this area is double out of logic at the moment. But most likely he will just tank through it and kill the Maw anyway. Because they are very well geared at the moment. They also have some regen items and such. Ooh,
Yep.
like he has the danger to now. Just enough to hit the save point.
Maybe.
Close!
Oh, that was close. So the save point not just refills his health, but also resets that oxygen meter. And looks like he's gonna give it a shot. He's gonna see if he can kill the Maw before he runs out of health and healing items.
And of course he's now safe, so if he doesn't make it, he gets right back there.
Yep. So this is the Golden Idol. Shouldn't be too bad, especially with Bombardment Plus. Bombardment Plus should absolutely destroy this boss. Oh yeah, look at that damage. Yeah, okay, so Batty is fine. So Batty is going to have killed this boss out of logic. Probably assuming that the gas mask is in the pyramid. Although if the third gear was in the other parts of the pyramid, then we may not have seen the gas mask ever. So we're going to see where this leads, but we are now out of the oxygen danger zone. One more chest in this shaft, and yeah, it looks like Batty's going to, by taking this elevator up and then down, give him the ability to exit out the top of this room and go check some other things. There's our regular plasma orb.
So Barry hasn't done the underwater checks yet, so I can pick those up now.
Yep. Meanwhile, Pi is almost done with the Maw Cave. And we will see if he makes a decision to also do Maskless Maw. The nice thing about having flooded Maw Caves is you don't have to fight the snails. You can just kind of swim above them.
Yep.
Alright, Batty taking advantage of the warp point very near to the last item in this cave.
Yeah, Barry won't find anything useful here. We already saw this on Pi's screen.
Yep. Oh, and Wef brings up a good point. Batty hasn't done much of his underwater check, so it looks like he's going to actually go do the flooded moat now. Which we've already seen Pi take care of. Didn't have anything.
So maybe Pi is closer to Barry than we actually think.
Mm-hmm. Now, an interesting proposal in chat is swimming leg day.
Now, why are these eels or zippy snakes? I mean, those whiffing ship eels. That's a bug.
Alright, Pi trying to decide where he wants to go next.
Doesn't want to risk dashing through the gas without Talaria or gas mask.
Yep. Oh, Pi never went back. Did Pi ever go back for the
Nope.
the twin spot?
I don't think he did, no.
So he's gonna go back and clean that up finally, so that he can see if gas mask is there, so that he can go do the Maw. He won't find it there, but he'll have at least killed the boss because he needs to have killed the boss.
Yeah, likely our runners will then just need to go to the military hangar, I guess, and then to the lab, because there's a lot of sticks in the lab always.
Yep. And
Batty is... Could be in the pyramid.
Yep, and Batty is decided it is time to check the pyramid. Technically, he could go to the present and start doing the present out of order, but regardless, the actual progression is here in the pyramid, and I think he's realized that. Oh, wouldn't that be great, Wef, if both Gear 3 and the gas mask are here in the pyramid. There is a chance that... Oh, and we have flooded regret tower, or regret chests. This is I think a 40-second drop.
Oh, I was so evil when I edited this one.
So this is a long drop for 2 checks. Luckily, there is a save point here, so Batty is going to hit that save point. And if neither of these 2 chests over here on the right is worthwhile, we'll probably quit without saving. Pi has cleaned up the missing twins check. What have we got? There's
Ooh,
the third gear in pre-regret chest. That is go mode for Batty. He's going to immediately warp and go start on the final boss. Pi is now also here in the pyramid. He needs to go down to that chest, but he's there to check the chest that he hasn't checked yet.
Yeah, there was
And
yeah, sort of quiet in the twist.
never do regret chest. Does that count as regret chest, Waffle?
Sort of.
So they've actually had go mode available for quite some time, and looks like Batty is actually is at the final boss. We have so the area this boss is. This is Genza, who is weak to sharp. And the area, this is the lab, so the water in this area is actually green to indicate it's poison. And our final boss is Ifrit, one of the optional bosses that would normally be in the Infinite Gyre. As our final boss of the game. And that's done. Batty is finished with an official time of 56 minutes and 11 seconds.
Yay.
GG's. Get your exclamation points in the chat for Lunaeus' favorite or famous line of And Pi is about to get his gear 3 right here and be not far behind.
Then we'll see if we can get Batty in our push chat. Meanwhile, Pi has picked up his final gear as well, so it's also going to be finishing in the next few seconds.
Oh yeah. And this was definitely a very close race. Pi will take a little bit longer on this boss because he is not using I+. Genza, very weak to sharp. Resistant to blunt, which is the damage type of both the Nether Orb and the Bombardment. But Empire will do just fine in the meanwhile. Especially paired with that Shadow Seal. Oh, that was real close. Alright, and there is Genza dead. Moving on to the Ifrit fight. One of the advantages, oh, and that's a death for Pi. Oh no. Yeah, the unfortunate thing with the water is you can get up to a nice position for using some of these attacks, but you also leave yourself open for some damage juggling you might not expect, and that's what happened there. He got clipped by the arm, hit by the sword, hit by the falling pillar, and just took so much damage. And now we get to go through Genza again, and then back into Ifrit. Alright, Genza's down. Looks like we're about to get Batty here in just a moment.
Welcome, Batty!
Welcome!
Thanks.
Watching Pi finish up the final boss, almost done.
I just opened the stream.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Speaking of death,
GG's.
this was it. And there
Oh.
it is with a official time
GG.
of 59:25. Pi has finished up. That was a really close race. The two of you had a lot of back and forth going there.
okay. I have no idea how the routing was.
So let's see. Well, I don't even know where to start with some of the routing decisions. GG Pi, welcome.
Welcome
Hi
indeed.
there, GG.
That was that could have been much closer.
It was already an incredibly close race. You two traded the lead back and forth. I think I lost count of how many times. Just really some minor routing decisions are what made the decisions here.
You want to know what made it? Me saving and quitting in the towers, forgetting I had Sash.
Oh,
Yep, that was one
That's
indeed.
what did it.
Yeah. Well, Baddy also had a few mistakes here and there, so it was you
Yeah.
were both at your moments.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that was a really close race. I think one of the bigger things, Batty went back to check the bat ledge early, and got the tablet so that he didn't have to backtrack into the lab. But then Pi got the Timespinner wheel on his first pass through Lake Desolation, so didn't have to backtrack for that. And then, yeah, I think it just came down to who checked the pyramid first at the end, because you were both neck and neck at that point.
I had the classic, I feel behind, so I do things I cannot do otherwise. Because I had my death for the first 3 minutes, I think. I don't know how much time it lost exactly.
Yeah, you
Oh,
went
that's right.
straight to the caves with the poison gas and the mushrooms. It didn't go very well.
Yeah. And then I decided when I had the chance to just go to lab and hunger and things, I thought if there is something I cannot make it up, so let's just check the rest.
Yeah, that makes sense indeed. And we still haven't found the gas mask yet, which I don't know where it is, but probably should have been somewhere in the pyramid, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, it's probably at the beginning of the pyramid.
That or it was locked behind the lab because it wasn't logically
yeah.
necessary.
Yeah, you're right.
That's true, yeah, it doesn't need, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually going to be incredibly pleased if both the gear and the gas mask were in the pyramid, and you found the gas mask first and immediately went back to the lab.
Oh.
That would have
No.
been mean.
Depending on where that was, honestly, you probably just finished pyramid at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the rising tides really kicked in this race. I think only 2 of the areas weren't flooded, which were the basement of the castle in the past and the walkway over to lower struggle juggle. Everything else was flooded.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
second season in a row that the pyramid's flooded for me, so can I please not have that next round?
Both parts of the
That
pyramid,
sucks. Holy crap, that sucks.
even. Yeah. Flooded fight and also flooded regret. I don't remember exactly how long it is. I thought it was 40 seconds. It might just be 20 seconds, but it's a long way down.
Mm-hmm.
I had to convince myself the whole fall not to sash up and skip. It was like 20 seconds of struggling.
Yeah, it's
All right.
interesting with rising tides. It's interesting routing decisions there. I really like that flag, yeah.
I really want to watch this.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, no, this was a great race. I think this will be a really good VOD to watch for anyone who's interested in the race. Just under an hour for Pi and just under an hour for Batty. So, yeah, I think this was a really good race, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of this because you're both still in the tournament. This is a double elimination tournament, so Batty's going to be moving along in the upper bracket, and Pi is going to drop to the lower bracket, but has a pretty good chance of.
Yeah, that Baddy match against Crimdall next round is going to be a banger for anyone who wants to watch that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I look forward to either seeing that match myself.
Indeed.
Oh, and I got Gabriel
I'm
Campos
scared.
next.
So do you have anything else to say?
Right now, it's the stress level is relieving, so I don't have anything to say yet.
Yeah, I also get very nervous for my races as well. That's why this year I was not going to participate. It was too stressful.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
You have anything to add, Pi?
No, it's been great runs. My menuing feels much better this year, and I'm glad I'm not freezing up every other transition, unlike last year. It actually does make for better races.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, how about you, Ursa? Any final thoughts, words?
No, that was just a really, really good race, really clean for both runners, and make sure to follow both Pi and Batty. They are both pretty regular streamers. Yeah.
You put your command for that actually. I think it's quite R. Yeah, there it is.
Thanks for commenting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. This was really fun to commentate, and I think thank you to everyone in chat for helping point out things that we missed, because there was just so much going on some of these times. And we've got 2 more races today, actually. We've got James KT versus Coolio MZX at 5 p.m. Eastern on Speedgaming 3. And then we also have Windfay Maiden versus Crazy Comics on Speedgaming 5 at 6 p.m. Eastern. So we'll have 2 races going on simultaneously, perhaps, here later this evening.
Indeed. And I guess with that we can wrap this race up. Hope you had fun and hope to see you guys in the rest of the tournament. Thank you.
Thank
A
you.
good one.